coming down.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's just like trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Good evening and welcome to the LSRL GT3 Round 5 live from the Daytona Roval. I am James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth by the one, the only, the Mr. Dean Biggles is joining me this evening to bring you all the action here on track. We've got 17 cars on track for this 3.560 miles course, 5.79 kilometers, 12 turns. And we've got banking of oval turns of 31 degrees. Back straight away 2 degrees, and the infield is flat. Track record is currently at 133.724 by Alex Palau and the Cadillac DPI VR 2022 DP1. But tonight it hosts the GT3s, the Audi, the Lamborghini, the Porsche, the Ferrari, and that big Gruffalo Mercedes. But let's bring my mate, Mr. Biggles, into the booth. Good evening, Mr. Biggles. How are you, sir?
Great to be back to Daytona, of course. I haven't been here since the 24-hour event that occurred a little earlier on. But once again, this infield that you mentioned, it's notoriously... And if you survive the infield, you'll manage to have to make your way around the banking on one of the classic tracks. Remember, Nicole Kidman might be sitting there waving in the audience. If you go back to that reference, of course, you know that one, wouldn't it? Back in the day there with... Mr. Tom Cruise.
Oh yes,
yeah, that's a 90s reference. So if you're not used to the 90s reference out there, as Dylan may or not be, but Dylan is racing, of course, as the watching him in the pictures right now. He's racing in that Lambo. That's the number 27 car.
Yeah, I love that film, Days of Thunder. Oh, such a good film. But if you haven't seen it, definitely go and check it out, guys, as well. It's absolutely incredible. We've got about 30 seconds towards the end of practice. We've got just enough time to bring you up the current championship standings. Joseph Carnes is leading the way on 53 points. Elliot Borg in second on 49. His teammate Joe Smart on 45. Peter Muller from LMA on 43. Steve Baker from LMA on 37. Nathan Graham on 37 as well. Dylan Gonez on 36. Ryan O'Connor on 34. Then we've got James Rep on 32. Daniel Pereira on 31. Mason Sagar on 27. Jonathan Dickerman on 23. John Silver on 16. Ben Barnes on 16. Sean Atkins 16. Thomas Boniatti on 12. Nathan Heffley on 10 points there as well. Oh, hello. Come back. There we go. Gerard Lindsay on 6, Brandon Birmingham 6, Brandon Thornhill 5, and Joey Fernandez on 3. Now in the team standings currently, we've got Smar Gonasborg racing on 108, LMA on 88, JBJ on 75 when slowly driving by you on 50, worst pace scenario on 47, Part-Time Pros on 38, Black Gold Racing on 31, and JJ Racing on 26. So there we go. We're just entering into the open qualifying now. That we want to see what these cars can do on this absolutely amazing circuit. Welcome in, Daniel. Thank you so much. Let's go, Daniel Pereira from Black Gold Racing there as well. Dylan Gones. Cheers, buddy. Have a great race. So there we go. That's Dylan and Ryan O'Connor. Good luck all. And of course, the one and only Mr. Biggles, who normally gets in chat first, to be fair, but he's second this evening. Didn't quite make it just in time there, Dean, did you, buddy?
Make it for what? Sorry.
For you to be first in chat on YouTube.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yeah, you caught me on that one, didn't you? Damn you, Daniel. Damn you. That's only because you just pulled me by the scruff of the neck, my friend. And then and gave me a little bit of a boarding pass and said, hey, make your way up here to the classic Daytona Arena. I'm like, all right. So, yeah, thank you very much for the non-first class or business class upgrade, my friend. I'm 6'1". You know how squeezed into the economy class on that flight? Anyway, I did get here. They did check my passport. They said, yes, you're not a criminal. You're allowed in the United States of America, and why not?
Well, that's fair enough. As we got 8 minutes and 26 seconds here on qualifying cars out on their outlaps here as well. And we've got Ben Barnes from Slowly Driving By You. I do love that name. I don't know why. It's just such a good name. And we've got, of course, Mr. Biggles' friend in here as well. John Silver is in. John Silver is in the race.
He's from the JBJ racing team, my friend. It'd be a little bit better if he had a JBP at the end of the name there, but it is JBJ.
If you ever watch the F1 broadcast, guys, this is the one and the only name that Biggles can't seem to get right, despite how many times I tell him, to be honest. He normally ends up calling him Sylvia, but there we go. The man from Colombia is on his fast lap here as well of this amazing circuit. You know, it's renowned, this circuit, isn't it? You know, we did 24 hours of Daytona on this circuit. There's obviously through iRacing as well. Then the oval comes into play. It just kind of, it's got it all, hasn't it, really? And it's got dirt track racing, I think, as well, if I remember correctly. And the inner loop around the pit lane for the ARCA series. So literally, it does a bit of everything here from this Daytona course.
Turn 1 in the infield here is the notorious one. I remember from the 24-hour event. That's the one that bought you. That's the one, James, you're well aware of. You got to put the padlocks on your front door, maybe a couple more padlocks on your front door, as you get burgled and burgled and burgled down there. That's going to be the crucial situation of handling it, because there's overtaking opportunities there, as well as the drivers actually go a little bit wide sometimes and say, you know, here we go, I'll leave the door open, give you a bit of a sniffing of opportunity. Does not quite always pay off, and they come back. So we'll pan out in that one. Nathan Graham looking damn quick right now of those purple sectors.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's been quick anyway in general, to be fair, and he's done an absolutely stellar job in this championship in this Audi. Not such a good run out at Alton Park last time out, mind you. That was Elliot Borg taking the victory. Jay Smart in second. Joseph Carnes got third place there as well. The part-time pros, I think the team of Nathan Graham and, brain's gone dead. Who else was with Nathan Graham last week? Amadon as well was basically put, Amadon spun at Cascades, Graham spun at, put it in the Wall Islands, so they did it together. At least they went off as a team, to be fair. So, there we go. But this is Nathan Graham. And he goes
whizzing
going
off
past
as a team? Sorry, the camera just scoots past my microphone at 100 million miles an hour. Nathan's going to still be at top of the timesheets right now, man. He's going to be at blistering time. 1:43.
Yeah, they went off, basically. Amadon, I believe, went off first, and then Graham went off after. He didn't want his teammate to feel too bad. So they went off together. And that was it, unfortunately, for them. It was quite an interesting one. Yeah, it was. To be fair, we had quite a few deaths at Ireland. Nathan Graham was one of them that went off at Ireland. James Rep was another one that went off at Ireland as well on lap 22. And There was a bit of contact between Barnes and Atkins at the Cascades. There was, it was all kind of going off, to be fair. It was interesting at Alton Park, though. You got to love Alton Park. It is an amazing circuit. But it did cause some of these drivers, some problems, especially on the first lap with cold tyres, Biggles. It did cause them a bit of an issue.
Cold tyres, but warm hearts, James.
This is true. They do have very warm hearts. Obviously, I haven't gone in and felt them. You know what I mean? Because
we put a heart rate monitor to some of these drivers, isn't it? Especially driving around Daytona, as you're currently riding on board right now with the driver that we're looking at, Mr. Graham, that's at the fastest lap and looking to probably put on there. There's the inside. Hit those chicanes, my friend. You may very well be bouncing all over there. Hopefully not over the catch fence. Make your way into the banking elevation changes. And what that degree you said here in Daytona it is for the banking elevation?
For the banking elevation, we have got, it is 31 degrees.
There you go. Not Celsius, not Fahrenheit, but 31 degrees angle.
Yes.
That one. Make your way around
degrees.
here, across Daytona to the right if you didn't forget where you were. There is your start-finish line. I didn't even see Barney. Is he retired? He's going to just pull on straight on through to the... He's thinking about, hey, it's an oval. It's not an oval, my friend. You have to stop before that corner, but it doesn't really matter. They're in a qualifying session. 3 minutes and change, lone qualifying, so they won't see. It is open qualifying, my apologies, not loans. They will see the other cars on the track.
And we've got, obviously, Conway in chat. Sucks I'm missing this one. It's one of my favourite tracks, says James Rep in YouTube chat there, as we're on board with Nathan Heffley. Yeah.
It says Conway to me.
Yeah, it is. It's James Rep.
Oh. You're trying to trick me?
I'm not trying to trick you. He may.
No.
James might be. Yeah. Conway Criddy is James Rep.
How do we really know who's in control right now of that
Well,
keyboard?
I don't. I'm just going by what he tells me. So he could be anything. It could be Fred Bloggs or, anything behind there. But at the moment, I'm going to take it as it is still James behind that keyboard.
Yeah, just because you like the name James.
It's the best name.
No, Dean's a better name, my friend. If you're going to be a professor of a university or running a university, what do they call them? Deans? How many Jameses are called that one? Elliot Borg, a mini purple sector there.
I've never heard of...
Borg is second in the championship as well, too, so he needs to get a little bit more performance here.
I've not ever heard of a King Dean, no. There's been King Jameses, but there hasn't been a King Dean.
Do you have a castle in the United Kingdom? No.
Yes.
Come talk to me when you get a castle.
I have got a castle. It's called Windsor.
No, you're not related to that. You're not going to go into your heritage history at the moment. We get 24 and me got some DNA tests. We shall see. This is what happens when you get James and myself into the casting booth. Expect those puns and don't worry about food. It's going to come a little bit later. 1 minute and change to go for qualifying, James.
Yeah, 1 minute 44 left as well. It's not the Jameses. So, what?
Ah, there you go. Aha. I was correct.
It is. I'm sure it's James Rep behind that microphone. Thanks.
Oh, I didn't actually load trading paints, James, so I'm actually not seeing the right liveries. Let me get that sorted. You kind of dragged me in at last minute, economy class.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't have no choice.
That's all right. It's good.
Yeah, that's
I'm having
what it
fun.
is.
I love light speed racing, man. I go for the Formula 1 background, but nothing like GT3s as well.
Yes, definitely. I do love a good gruffing GT3. And generally in the hands of the Mercedes as well. That's the even better one. We've got Thomas Boniatti going. Got a couple of greens on the board currently at the moment here as well. Sean Atkins is down in 11th. He's got greens in that Ferrari. How is he going to go as he goes over the line? Where is Sean Atkins going to go? Does he stay where he is on this 146.4? Yes, pretty much stays where he is. What about Thomas Boniatti? Who is the one person that people hate at school? It's not the Jameses. Says James
it's the teacher.
It's the Deans. It's the Deans, isn't it?
Didn't you just quit your day job from a teacher at school there to become a full-time broadcasting? Mind you, a fantastic full-time broadcasting network.
I did.
They say don't quit your day job, mate. You did quit your day job.
I did quit my day job, yes. But look at the, look on the bright side. It's busy and it gives me all the time to sit here with these
spend
wonderful
more
people.
time with your kids, but then again, you get to spend more time with your kids because you're so busy running the network. Either way,
This is true. That's the thing. I'm so busy in general that I think it just it needed to be done. It was the right time as we've come to the end of qualifying. Enough of my talking here. Let's get up the qualifying standings when they come in, as we just wait for the last few to go past.
any predictions out there for who will be on top? So it looks like Audi's on top, of course. Lamborghinis, Ferraris, a lot of Italian manufacturers in here. A couple of Mercedes down the fact that 13th. And a couple of those drivers didn't even set laps there. Ryan, Joseph, and Brandon. Where is my Nissan Skyline? Is iRacing denying me that one? That's an ACC, but where is it?
You're not going to get it here.
That's just so... I don't know what to say. I'm upset.
I know, it's like the new McLaren that's been released for this season's GT3 in real life. Is it likely to be ever getting into iRacing? You know what I mean? Are we going to see the new McLaren in iRacing?
If my Godzilla Skyline was out here, my friend, you could just leave everybody for dead. Graham would be doing 1 minute 30s flat. 130 flat. 140 flat, sorry. 130, so that quick. Anyway, he's going a bit quicker at the moment, but that qualifying session is over. So he's pretty much done the deal.
Definitely has. And we are just waiting for the last of the cars to come over the line. Graham is the last one from the part-time pros. We'll be coming across the line very, very shortly. And then we'll be able to bring you up the grid. Right, here we go. Let's have a look. We've got Nathan Graham in first, Elliot Borg second, Jay Smart third, Dylan Gonaz fourth, Joseph Carnes fifth, John Silver sixth, Daniel Pereira seventh, Mikhaili Turkin, who's new in tonight, in eighth, Thomas Boniatti in ninth, Ben Barnes 10th, Sean Atkins in 11th, Nathan Heffley is there in 12th place. Then beyond that, we've got John Dickerman 13th, Brandon Birmingham 14th, Ryan O'Connor 15th, Joseph Fernandez 16th, and Brandon Murray down in 17th place. So here we go.
Just got the reference out there in the chat there, James, about Conway saying the modern day Greg Davis. Now, if you are not aware of Greg Davis as a comedian from the United Kingdom, that's the reference he's putting to. Yeah, a 6'4", 6'5" comedian. That was a school teacher, wasn't he? And turned into an actor.
I have no idea.
Have you not seen the In-Betweeners series?
No.
Oh, there you go. Is that what you were referring to there out there, Conway, in the chat, which is AKA James? But anyway.
No, I haven't seen the In-Betweeners series.
80 years. Yeah, okay. I know he's tall. There you go. So I think he's right on this one, James. See, I'm connecting a little bit more to the audience out there than you are.
Right, that's because you're doing a fine job at it as well.
Oh, thank you.
Do you know what I mean? That's why I bring you here.
You're trying to make up for me for that economy class flight, weren't you? You were definitely making up for that one.
I didn't have no choice, and I hope you got the cardboard steak as well, because mine was terrible.
Oh, was it? And did you say you had the beef on the flight, not the chicken? You know, if you did fly first class, they give you lobster every once in a while.
Yeah, definitely.
What's interesting about this is turn one. I think that's going to be tricky, isn't it? 45-minute race, as you mentioned earlier. No fast repairs, so you ding that car up. There ain't no refunds.
No, they've definitely got no fast repairs. 45 minutes, 50% fuel, and a pit stop that's going to be needed. So what more could you ask for here tonight as we start out? A little bit of a quarter of a pace lap before we go green here. And we're going to be on the way.
He's right, that one.
I don't know that.
You live in the UK. Switch on the television, you probably see that 6'8" star. He's a fantastic comedian as well. Anyway, James, I think there's a little bit of pressure for Mr. Graham there, because if you look at those pictures right now, they are the squad, and that's the racing squad of the. Is that Smargersborg?
Smargonersborg Racing, as in
Smargersborg.
Elliot Borg, Jay Smart.
1, 2, and 3 of them behind.
Yeah, they generally are. They generally bunch up. It's quite interesting to see these guys getting onto this position, but we are going to be green very, very shortly. The pace car will be in, and then we'll be underway here for this 45 minutes.
Feel like he's going to get bullied right now. Here we go, James. As Barney's going to wave that flag, they're going to get underway here. Welcome along, of course, to Lightspeed Racing GT3 Round 5.
Here we go now. We are off on the run, and it's Nathan Graham in first place, Elliot Borg second, Jay Smart in third, Dylan Gonaz in fourth. Then before that, we've got John Silver behind in fifth place. Joseph Carnes is down one already in sixth. Side by side with Graham and Borg. Borg's got the inside line. He needs his team to line up really right behind him. Oh, he didn't quite get the power on. And that has put Nathan Graham still out in front currently with Elliot Borg, John Smart, Jay Smart, John Silver and Dylan Gonaz. There was some incidents at the back, and Tamas Boniatti is already into the pits there as well. Ryan O'Connor seemed to have made it through from JMA, but it looked a little bit scary. LMA, sorry. Looked a little bit scary for Tamas Boniatti. And let's have a look here. Started with Daniel Pereira, I believe, and then may have gone on from there. But let's have a look and see what happened to Tamas. Oh, okay. Well, that was a straightaway entrance, wasn't it? I think that's going to start with...
James. Yeah, we go ahead.
Let's have a look with Daniel Pereira. Daniel Pereira in the black and gold there. So Joseph Carnes, but oh, there was a big sender there. Who's car number 47? Or is that Brandon Birmingham? Brandon Birmingham sent it. And these guys went 3 wide, and he put Daniel Pereira into the wall, unfortunately, so that wasn't good. What do we expect, though, because everybody made it through apart from them guys. You know, Nathan Graham, we've got a bit, it's a bit of a draft fest, isn't it, around these back parts of these circuits, especially round 12 on that run down across the line.
It is, James. Unfortunately, at the moment, I'm having a little bit of the old connection issues between yourself and myself, and yourself in the UK. So I'll try to get my little schedule there sorted out there in a second in the trail in the back there of Daytona. And you'll have to continue with that one while I catch up to the action.
Yeah, so here we go. We've got Nathan Graham, Elliot Borg, Jay Smart, Dylan Gonaz. It is Smart, Gonaz, Borg racing, tracking down the Nathan Graham of the part-time pros. And then we've got Dylan Gonaz as well with John Silver here as well. There goes Dylan, there goes John. They are literally next to each other currently at the moment. Oh, there's contact. Dylan's in the wall. Oh, Dylan Gonaz is in the wall. There goes his rear bumper. Oh. Dylan Gonaz into the wall. That's going to be job done for you, sir. Unfortunately for him, back on board with Nathan Graham, but Pereira, Gonaz, Boniatti, all in the pits. And that was a big one for Dylan Gonaz there, Dean, wasn't it? It was horrendous. And Sean Atkins has also spun on the infield. I think that was coming out of turn 7. It does look like he's going to get underway at the moment. But, yeah, a bit of a tough start for some people.
Oh, massive tough start there, James. Huge, as I'm trying to capture the action as well, that you'd mentioned. Meatball for us, somebody had mentioned that there for Daniel. Yes, it is. But yeah, the good thing on your side is about 41 minutes and change to get something done about it. Nathan's still leading this race. Elliot Borg P2, J Smart P3, and well, there's the Colombian driver, and I'm not going to pronounce his name, but I guarantee it starts with a J. It's John. He's in P4. Yeah,
definitely is currently at the moment, and Brandon Birmingham, who kind of set off the chain at the beginning. Oh, it's gone wrong. He's not stopping that. Oh, just misses Ryan O'Connor. And Brandon Birmingham there is in the wall. Brandon Birmingham in the wall. I think it's going to be job done for him as well. That looks quite a big one. Sean Atkins goes through. He just has to jump directly back to the pits. And we're already got Boniatti out. Murray. Brandon Murray's out. We've got Pereira, Birmingham, O'Connor, and Gonaz into the pits. And Ryan O'Connor jumped to the pits as well. Let's have a look and see what happened to him. Oh. The Porsche doing Porsche things, I think, on that one, Biggles. I think that was the response we could have as he came around turn 1.
Can't blame the car, James.
It was the car, bro. All day. Oh, no. John Diggerman's had an incident. Mr. Consistently.
Yeah, John's also.
Okay, that's coming out of turn 7. I'll let him off.
Slide. Yes.
oh my God, so many people in the pits or out already. And we're only...
Yeah, all of a sudden right now we're down to about 11 drivers and change, James. So just like that, I'm not sure if anybody got the memo, but you have 40 plus minutes in this race, and all of a sudden within a couple of minutes, it's game over. Well, not necessarily game over, but it's a game lost for a lot of those drivers. Dylan, Daniel, Brendan, Ryan, and Thomas. All struggling. I don't even think Brandon Murray even started the race, but at the moment, hey, he's stopped from the pit lane. You're probably going to be beating a whole bunch of people in pit road.
It definitely, it's definitely an interesting opening, I think. It's a tough one now because we sit here and we go, you know, we call the action, we see it all and everything else. But when you see something like this, because Sean Atkins is now in the pits as well, and at the moment, it's not looking altogether amazing. Now, Sean hasn't hit anything. I can't see anything pop up for Mr. Atkins. So unfortunately, I'm not quite sure what the situation is with him, but he's in the pits as well. I'll tell you what we're doing. While these guys are jockeying away, let's have a look back at the start of the green flag, and we can see what happened here. I put it on half speed so we can have a good look, but I think it starts here with Mr. Brandon Birmingham, who starts off this chain of events, should we say. There he goes already. He's through the middle. They've just got across the line, mind you, so he was there a little bit early. As he comes through the middle of everybody, there's Pereira on the right-hand side in the black, white and gold Ferrari. And here comes Mr. Birmingham from near the back of the grid, tries to get between the 36 and Daniel Pereira. He hits the 36, puts Pereira into the tyre barrier. And that starts the chain off behind him, unfortunately. There's Pereira there. So, and then behind that, and then, of course, we saw Dylan go off after that. So, yeah. Quite an interesting start. So, there we go.
That's a lot to catch up on, James. Absolutely. A lot of people at pit road right now.
Yeah.
It's just insane, like, considering how much of a long race you have to go. At the moment, at the top of the timesheets, you do have Elliot Borg putting in one of the fastest sectors. The last lap was the fastest of the race. So a little bit of a problem for him is the fact that he has to catch Mr. Nathan Graham, and that's crucial, obviously, in the championship standings as well. Let's see how I navigate the infield here of Daytona.
Your mate's gone off.
Yep, he did. He's back in pit road too, as John.
In that Ferrari, that's why. Can he keep it out? Nope.
It's kind of at a point right now, James, I like to ask, I don't know the league rules, but considering so many people are really damaged and scrubbed up in the first lap, you'd kind of like to be calling a red flag situation. But I'm not a part of the stewarding team. But considering we're down to about 10 drivers from 16 or so, kind of like that situation. Unfortunately, iRacing doesn't kind of call that red flag situation, but something perhaps for the league admins, considering very early into this race, so much incidents. And again, not in the right place at the right time. That's your fault, perhaps, sometimes. Or another crash as well, so I'm saying there from Michael. It is another crash there from Michael. What's going on, James?
Well, unfortunately, Michele Turkin looks like he's out as well. And
yeah, it's Michele, not Michael. Sorry, apologies. Yeah, that's a big-time smash. Anyway, something to be... no red flags. Drivers need to learn to be more careful. Ryan, I called that one perfectly. That's true. It's race day. It's race on.
Oh, Michele Turkin. That's a game over one there.
Yeah, no fast repairs there, James. So big smashes are big smashes. That's the reason why you're seeing...
We're down
Mikhail,
to
Brendan,
we're down to
Ryan,
9 cars here, Ryan.
And Ryan even mentioned as well, too, Ryan's in pit road, of course, too, repairing his car. Daniel's in the pit road repairing his car. There's a ton of people in the pit road repairing their car, but it's exactly as you said. No red flag drivers need to be more careful. And you're right in that pit road as well, too. So if anybody could confirm that one Ryan has. Even though he could be like, no, I want to get out back on track. But you got to get that gaffer tape out there, mate. Ding the damage out of the car. Hopefully you can get it done. Elliot Borg right now, still on the back of Nathan leading this race.
Yeah. 9 cars out 9 cars remaining. Silver's out, Turkin's out, Birmingham, O'Connor. Pereira, I think, has come back out on track, if I'm not mistaken. Daniel Pereira is there. He's determined to try and score some points. Currently about 4.5 laps down in a very beaten-looking Ferrari. So unfortunately for him, he has dropped down the order. But he's still going, and he could gain 1, 2, 3, 4 places here up into 10th. So he still will get some points on the board here as well. So for now, though, we've got Nathan Graham and Elliot Borg. Hopefully, these guys will survive.
Oh, exactly. It's forget about the Netflix series at the moment. Driving surviving. Go to the pit road. Actually, at the moment, not the pit road. So I get a little confused on that one. And I wonder at the moment there, James, if we could probably get Ryan in there, sitting in pit road at the moment, not doing too much. Maybe Ryan can come in and give us a little bit of an evaluation of what just happened into the first couple of laps of this race.
Yeah, Ryan, come and have a chat with me. Come and tell me all. Come and tell me all about it. Your brief stint on the Daytona Roval, as we see Joey
Keep
Fernandez.
Keep an eye on Joseph there too.
Yeah.
Yep, you got it perfectly.
He's in the Mercedes with Nathan Heffley in front of him in the Ferrari. We've got John Dickerman behind. Of course, anybody that is in the pits, not just him, obviously, you know, Tamas, Dylan, Brandon or John, if you want to come and have a chat, jump up in the waiting room and we'll pull you in. We have got 33 minutes left here, and we've got Nathan Graham in first. We do have Mr. Ryan O'Connor has joined us after his very short stint on Daytona. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Tell us what happened,
we're better
Ryan.
than you, but
Yeah.
Week off, I don't know, because of the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, we get a lot of weeks off with the Sunday Night League, you know, so I don't know if these drivers were just all itching or what, but, I mean, this is embarrassing, so, I mean, I'm just not going to sugarcoat it. This is not up to our league standards one bit.
Well, yeah, that's not the question, Ryan. Why not so early in the stage, like looking at a red flag and just like that's the rules, just go for it, just believe it like that?
Just go for it. We want to keep it simple.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to sit there and start having other drivers say, "Well, my first start was better than this." You know, it turns into a whole grab bag if you go ahead and red flag this thing and repair everybody's car. So, we're just going to let it run and. The drivers that were on the receiving end of the incident, that's, like myself, that's sad. Sorry, come out next week. The guys that are on the attacking end of these incidents, it's going to get looked at, and they've definitely earned their spot in the pit lane getting repairs.
So you're going to look at the start then, I presume?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Are you going to give us some more feedback about that going through that there one, Ryan? I mean, once again, this is obviously, it's fair. Because you're not racing, and then you were involved in all that, so you're saying, "Hey, I'm not going to stop this race at the moment because I was involved in an accident. This is just the way the cookie crumbles," and that just shows you how you're running this league, which is like fair play to everybody.
It is. This league's really, really special. You guys see in the Discord chat. All of us really get along. We all really respect each other. So. There's nothing here tonight that happened maliciously, but yeah, absolutely. The people that started causing some of these pileups. I mean, I saw Dylan. Dylan went off on his own. So did John. So I mean, just tough luck on those guys. But people that cause the pileups are definitely going to be talked to. There's going to be some action by the stewards taken. But at the end of the day, I don't know what it is. We took a week off. Obviously I was put in the wall and, before turn one, came across my racing line and, it's frustrating, guys. But
you can't be blaming the Super Bowl, mate. It's got nothing to do with the
I blame, I don't even, no, I know. It's just the inconsistency in our Sunday night league. We'll be looking at moving this next season, to like a Monday or Thursday or take a poll on it because we have too many holidays that fall on a Sunday or too many special events, We got Easter. We're off for Easter. So it's like, before you know it, these guys get out of the car and they stay out of the car for a couple weeks,
Yeah, Dylan's with slight contact, mind you, with car number 10, which was John Silver. So, again,
yeah, James, there's not a lot of it happening at the moment on track. Do you have a chance to go back and show through those replays and kind of absolutely show there Ryan at the same time there on the pitches to kind of injury to insult, I guess, to some of the things that happened?
Well, sure. Obviously, we can have a look back at the start straight away. I'll run the start at full speed and show you where the main kind of incident started. So let's go on board with this young man. Looked like he possibly already jumped the start. He's gone already, and they've only just gone across the front. And then obviously comes in between Daniel Pereira and car number 36, Michele Turkin. And that causes that pile up. And obviously for your spurt after that, it was obviously Tamas has been involved in the incident as well. So poor Tamas got caught up and didn't survive turn one. Dylan was fighting and there was contact there, and that put Dylan out in with no bumper, unfortunately, on the back of his car. Sean Atkins.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's turn one, isn't it? That's
yeah.
Classic. Yeah.
Sean went round on his own. Obviously, you've got your own, just in case you didn't know what happened.
No, well aware.
There we go. That was obviously you. Oh, I didn't see John Dickerman have a crash. The man that never dented his car in Chicago.
So a lot of these mistakes too, James, are like self mistakes. There's not a lot of contact from this race so much. It's just a lot of cold tires and eager drivers.
Yeah, apart from turn one, to be fair. Sorry, mate, but apart from turn one, there wasn't a lot after that, I think.
Yeah, with with the start of the race, so my feed was a little delayed while you guys were commentating on it. So the start of the race, we're okay with jumping starts. It's part of GT3 racing. And that's all right. Brandon did do a good job jumping the start. He got on the throttle really quick. I know he passed me because I was about ready to jump it, and I had to back off because I had a car right next to me, and it was him flying through. But in the same respect, when you jump a start, you turn into, you're just, you're a wrecking ball if you're not really careful. And that's where he didn't, that's what he didn't do, is realize, wow, I'm 3 wide all the way through.
Do you not think, though, that comes with racecraft, Ryan? It's like Daniel said, I've rewatched the race start. I probably think there was already a black flag for jumping the start, because technically you're not supposed to overtake people before the lead cars go across the line, and he was already gone past a good 2 stacks of cars there before the leaders had even got over the line.
Technically, you're not supposed to be passing cars before the green lights drop. That's it. And then the leader has to cross the line first in GT3, or at least in IMSA GT3. So what he's doing isn't wrong. There's no black flag there because he's, the greens on our screen had dropped. So he's allowed to go ahead and take whatever position he wants, whether he's at the beginning of the start-finish line or not.
Well, what's interesting right now there, Ryan, is that joining us in the casting box, when you generally should be racing, of course, but you're not at the moment because of the pit lane repairs. But
Sure.
How's that battle brewing at the moment between Elliot Borg, of course, and Nathan? And if James could put the pictures on there, go on board right now with Elliot Borg. And I see actually a luxury we don't have very often. But Ryan, as a race driver, what do you think as an overtaken opportunity around here in Daytona that Elliot Borg can get right now on the Audi of Nathan?
And it's so hard to, it's actually really hard to overtake here because you carry so much speed inside and out. I would probably say after the bus stop is probably going to be his best place. Wait for Nathan to maybe lift a little early or downshift a little too late or whatever, carry a little less speed through, and then come through, and then you're going to end up getting him on that back straight. But Nathan doesn't make mistakes, or seldom, and I don't mean to curse him. But he doesn't make mistakes. So Elliot's got a uphill battle again, trying to catch this guy.
So what's your prediction then, Ryan? How long are your repairs, by the way, sir?
I got about, I've been sitting for 12 minutes. I got about 6 minutes left. So I figure I'm going to stick it out because points for the team. I can get like a top 12 or, with how many cars are out. So
pretty much.
Yeah. So you know what? I'll stick it out and I'll do some driving and waving by, but, I don't know. Elliot's insanely fast. I really think I could flip a coin between Elliot and Nathan at this point in time. He hasn't really lost any speed. What has he been, a half second down on him the entire race? It's not easy to do.
Yeah. What would you tell Elliot Borg, like to sit there and just follow for a while? Of course, the pit stops will be coming up, the fuel situation. And on top of it, we started the nighttime situation. So did you think that the cooler temperatures caught a lot of the drivers off, including yourself?
No, we set practices. So 3 days, the league sets practices. So everybody had ample time to practice if they wanted to. They're 6-hour practices, I believe, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. So these guys have every opportunity. So if they're comfortable driving at night, great. If they're not, we have hosted sessions for them.
Okay, well, we will let you get back into the car, ready to come back out again. If you can do 5 laps, you'll finish in 10th. All right.
That's the idea. So I'm going to be racing against the laps versus the clock.
Basically, yeah. You need to. I would say one thing though. Just keep it on the black stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, mate.
Great
guys.
stuff, isn't it?
No worries.
Yeah, thank you.
You take care, buddy. We'll catch up with you soon.
You guys too.
Well,
Now,
there we go.
James, how's that? We don't get an opportunity, do we, to hear from Brian O'Connor or many other drivers, do we? So early into the race, but we just heard it.
Yeah, we did. And I think it's interesting, I don't know. Do you know what? Right. Yes, they may sit back and say that, Brandon's got the right to go because the green flag had dropped. But I think, you got a 45-minute race. I know you want to try and go from last to first. I get it, right? You're a racing driver. You want to. But when you're trying to squeeze between somebody in the front and poor old Daniel Pereira, the only place he's got to go is in the tyre barrier, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think that's the problem. But what we'll do, we'll bring Tamas Boniati into the booth as well. Tamas sat there waiting ever so patiently with us after his venture lasted all of about 30 seconds or so. Tamas, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. How
Wasn't
are you?
expecting. Good. Well, could be better.
I was going to say good. Really? Okay, go ahead, mate.
Tell us, mate. You say you wasn't expecting it, but that's what happens when you sit in the waiting room, mate. You sit there long enough, I'm going to grab hold of you. Tell us what happened. Come on, what's your point of view on it all?
Oh man, I mean, taking that T1 and 3 wide, especially when you're already running a little quicker than everyone else, jumping the start, that it just doesn't work out too well for anyone. But I mean, it happens.
All right, hold on. I'm sensing tension. Tell us, do you think it should have happened?
I mean, I'm going to reiterate what Ryan said. There's definitely multiple practice sessions throughout the week, so you have time to practice. But again, it could happen to me. I've done it before.
Okay.
Oh, pit
I'll
stops
keep
there
it
at
simple.
the moment. Sorry to cut you off on that one. Pit stops for both Graham and Borg going to pit road at the moment. Now, while you're here at the moment, Thomas, is this a scheduled pit stop you think these gladiators will be doing here at the moment?
I believe so. I think that's the end of their fuel stint for the first run, and then we got a couple people on separate fuel stints.
Okay. Are you out, Tamas? Are you done? Okay.
Yeah, there was 17 minutes of repairs at the beginning of the race, I think.
Well,
He is in the team name Worst Place Scenario. Well,
Worst place scenario. The thing is, on the upside, though, mate, if you'd have gone back out, you would have been at least 10th place. You know what I mean?
This is true.
This is true, mate. Yeah, literally, Pereira. Everybody.
He's like, maybe I shouldn't have been here when the waiting room changed. Maybe I should have been out back.
Yeah, Dylan's gone back out, and Mikhaili Turkin's gone back out as well. So you would have been, top 13. So, it would have been some points, I guess. Tamas would have been better than none.
This is true.
This is true.
I have nothing to say. That is absolutely true.
He's keeping it politically correct there, James, which is not a bad thing to do.
The worst thing is, though, I don't
James,
actually
have a look at Jay Smart having a little bit of a spin in turn 1. We've seen that a few times there on the replay.
Yeah, Tamas, I'm trying to say that I'm trying to push for the question for the answers, and I got a funny feeling you're going to be tight-lipped like a padlock, and I'm not likely to get the pushing of the answers.
He's got his media agent right there saying, James, no more questions, no more questions.
I got John Silva in my ear. He's telling me not to talk.
Well, at least you might get his name right, I suppose. Unfortunately,
that's fine. All right.
Biggles does struggle with that one, but Tamas, thank you so much for joining us. We have got John waiting in the booth, actually. We'll pull him in a minute as well. But Tamas, much appreciated as always, man.
Thank you, guys.
Care.
You too.
Right, let's have a quick look at Jay Smart's crash, unfortunately, in what was turn 1.
Just a spin, mate. Not a crash, but a spin. Yeah, a little overspeed.
Well, I'm only going by what the Timing software tells me, bud.
Yeah, it's too deep into turn one. It's a classic scenario here in the Daytona in-track field. Of course, not the ovals, but you'll see it in a second there, James.
Yeah, he's just gone round. We are going back live. He has gone into the pits. Nathan is still ahead of Elliott at the moment. These guys battling backwards and forwards. They were really close coming out of the pits, and at one point I thought Elliott was going to get him, but he was just a little bit too far back. But let's bring in Biggles' best friend, John Silver, into the booth. John, good evening. How are you?
Give me a second, guys. I couldn't hear well. Okay, now I can hear. Hi, guys. How you doing?
Not bad, mate. How are you? John, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm not happy. Like, frustrated a lot. Like, I don't feel good, to be honest. Because normally this is not the reason why I like to be here and talking with you guys. But yeah, I just came because I want to explain, but also I want to give an apology to Dylan. That was my entire fault. Like, I don't feel good.
Mistakes happen, mate. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you were side by side on a very tricky part of the circuit. The run from turn 4 down to turn 5 and then into 6 is always difficult when you're trying to go too wide. Do you think there maybe should have been an opportunity for one of you backing out, or do you think, not so much and you were going for it?
Well, normally I've been racing with Dylan almost like a year, and when we're fighting, we don't back up. Like, I always have a fair battles with Dylan. If you can see an old replay or something on Formula 1 or something, we don't back up, and we don't crash. We have contact, but we don't crash. But today, that's why I'm feeling bad, because normally we respect each other. We don't back up. We give everything. But today was my entire fault. So yeah, that's why I'm not happy. Like,
John, I have something for you to say in Espanol. Is it okay if I say it?
Yeah, that's why I just came here to say apology, but hopefully for next race. But
yeah, and I was going to say, lo siento por tu nombre. Is that a nombre? Is that okay if I say that one to you?
Lo siento. Lo
Dylan,
siento,
yeah, por tu nombre. Yeah, so I'll get that one right, but yeah. If anybody doesn't know the translation of that one, that is apologies or sorry for your name.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah,
nice.
Guys, thank you so much today.
Well, no worries, John. Well, you take care, and I look forward to chatting to you soon, as always.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
And you, man. Bye. Well, there we go. John has come in and apologised to Dylan there as well. Dylan is back out on track. So is Turkin back out on track. And Mr. Ryan O'Connor from LMA is back out as well, trying to get the points on the board, of course. Joseph Fernandez is into the pits. This is his scheduled stop, working with John Dickerman from the JJ Racing team. John and Joseph, obviously, JJ's. Thomas, I didn't hit the inside barrier this time, Murray. If I had $1 for every time I spun out in turn 1 here, I'd be a rich man. There we go. I think it's probably, you're not the only one, but these guys are still battling backwards and forwards here on track, and it's still, at the moment, Graham out in front of Borg. 16 minutes remaining. What do we expect for the next 16 minutes? Backwards and forwards between these two, would you say?
Yeah, 1-2. You're right on that one there. Nathan and Elliot Borg, the number 1 machine and the number 63 machine. They have everything to gain here. 21 seconds and change down the road there from Joseph. That's gained 2 positions in P15 car in P3. That's the Ferrari. And then Jay Smart a little bit down the road from him. That lost 1 position for the 44 machine, but has time on your side, of course, because you still have 15 minutes and change to go. But yes, the battle for P1 and P2, it's all about Elliot Borg. I think Elliot Borg at the moment is still happy to sit here and just settle behind Nathan. Cool, calm, and collected. They qualified P1, they qualified P2. They know that there's a whole bunch of incidents of cars that occurred behind them, James. So it's all about just collecting maximum points here in race 5.
Yeah, I think the thing is as well, they got 21 seconds to this man, Joseph Carnes, who's just really mixing it up now from the JBJ, obviously with his teammate Brandon Birmingham in front, of course, who was one of the main protagonists of that first lap incident that put so many people out, unfortunately. But I think, you know, from Joseph's point of view, he's just going around doing his job. He's got 6.5 seconds over this man, Jay Smart, who has got Dylan Gonez in front of him currently as well. So maybe we're hoping that Dylan might be able to catch up with Joseph. And, you know, we've seen it recently at this very track, just with a different team, I guess, of the lapped car slowing down the cars in front for his teammate to catch up, I guess, would be a way of putting it.
I think it's the best strategy you're going to have right now with the spread of field. Of course, after a lot of those drivers that came out there after massive repairs early in this race, still going back out, which is what you like to see. You're already signed up, weren't you, James? You said, you said to your girlfriend or wife or family and said, look, I'm unavailable now for 2 to 3 hours of this motor race. I'm still going to be unavailable for 2 to 3 hours, whether or not I had pit repairs or not. This is my time to get out there and do some work, whether I'm a lap or 2 down, doesn't matter. I'm still here. I'm still committed. And whether I can help my teammates out is going to be crucial. And points are very, very crucial. It's going to be interesting to see. Yep, go ahead.
Sorry, they get points all the way through, you see. So, you know, all of these guys are going to score points. I don't think that basically the point system runs all the way down to, I believe, hold on, I am just checking before I say this, all the way down to 14th place, they get 2 points. So currently Birmingham's going to get 2, O'Connor's going to get 3, Gonaz is going to get 4, Turkin's going to get 5, 10th is going to get 6 with Pereira, and then they go up, you see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15 for the win. So there's still points on the board, and as you say, if you're fighting in a team battle, you want to make sure your team has got points, and if that means going back out after, I don't know, 10, 11 minutes repairs, then that's, I suppose, what they've got to do.
You're right, James. And even myself, when I've raced in, well, not really sim games, but even in the F1 game and stuff like that, I've done it for fun. Just in like racing leagues and stuff. And, you know, I'm slow, so I get out of the way. I just don't interfere with anybody. But I race, and I race, and I race. And I'm like, if I have a spin, I have a moment, doesn't matter. I just stick with it. You believe it or not, James, I've actually finished in the top 10 multiple times of a grid around this size, if not more, just because I've managed to stick with it. You'd be surprised that even me, slow driver like that, like 2 seconds, I'm letting everybody through. I'm not battling anybody. I just stick with it. You'd be surprised. Like, I could probably finish 10th in the championship just by haggling around the back end of the field there, being 10 laps down from anybody else. But if I still finish the race, I still get points, and I'm still ahead of, believe it or not, some of the best drivers on the planet, you see.
Yeah, but that's a different mentality, though, isn't it, with them? So the difference between the best drivers on the planet and yourself is obviously they, you know, go full speed into every corner. They want to be first in everything, and then they go and hit the barrier. You know, we can see.
Yeah, and I do, but I don't hit it as hard as they do.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, you hit it just a little bit softer.
But yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, exactly. It's just about I want to see a race through to the end. But then again, this is shorter. We got 11 minutes and change there, James. So we've gone 33 minutes into this race. Actually, we have 33 minutes remaining. My apologies. No, we have 11 minutes. Smile the place. So much talking, isn't it? Sean Atkins, look at this one. At the moment, worst case scenario, making an overtake there for a P7 position, James.
Yeah, Sean Atkins from worst pace scenario. They're overtaking Nathan Heffley, so he has gone through as well. I do love the fact that you read things. No, I'm not picking on you. I do love the fact that you read things too quick for your own. Yeah. You're like me. You read things and you go, yeah, I know what that says. And then somebody's like, well, what does it say? So you read about it like, no.
It's my trademark.
Yeah, you pick things out.
I read it how my brain thinks.
Yeah, to 100 miles an hour, because obviously that's our job, to sit here and think about things at 100 miles an hour. Doesn't mean we're going to get it right, but we do try, as we've got Nathan Graham from Part-Time Pros in first place, still with Elliot Borg trying to chase him down currently at the moment. Nathan Heffley's lost a lot of time there over Sean Atkins. So there we go. But all in all, 10 minutes remaining is I think from our point of view, it was a little bit of an anticlimax race, wasn't it? Because there was a lot of people that went out within the first few laps and that was kind of that really. It was a bit of a bizarre one for us, wasn't it, this evening?
It is typical of Daytona. There was something I was going to mention about. This is the thing I was going to mention about, James. Remember we did the little exhibition race there for the Bathurst event on your channel recently. Yeah. And what I thought was clever was the fact that the team that we were broadcasting elected to start in pit road because they kind of like, foresee a crash or a whole bunch of stuff occurring at the start of the race. And that paid off for them. Because you imagine there was a whole bunch of stuff that started this race there. There's a lot of bold, brave people went into turn one. And there was cars spinning over the place. They had cold tires and all sorts of jazz. So that sometimes gives you an indication, doesn't it, James, that you don't necessarily always have to be going for those movements, going for those overtakes, going for those opportunities. Sometimes sitting back could be the ultimate strategy in a motor race.
See, I think the thing is with that Bathurst 12 hours, right, is they knew that Bathurst was going to be tricky. You know what I mean? Bathurst is tough in general, and I think from their point of view, it was the right move for them to make. I don't see why they needed to do anything else, but they come out of there, and they got to fifth. Was it fifth they were in the end, or they come down? They dropped down a few, did they?
Third.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then came out of a corner, and there was cars spinning the wrong direction, as you know, endurance races. But go ahead. Yeah,
and then obviously, they did what they had to do, and I think that's the thing, that if you're sensible, you've got such a long time on in 12 hours endurance races that you don't have to go from last to first in a minute because everybody makes a mistake. And
that's what the question as well, James. Like, when you think about this right now, so if you qualify a little bit out of what your pace that you would be, what would you have said to some of the drivers that were at the back of the field there? Just lift off? Allow everything to happen up the road there and just go scooting on by as they get towed back to the pit road with damage, and then all of a sudden you're up to P4, you're up to P5, you're up to P6.
Exactly. I think as soon as if I was sat at the back and as soon as I saw Birmingham go hurtling past me, I would have lifted off. And that's purely because of the fact that it wasn't going to work. The overzealous start and the overexcitement was not going to work in this grid, and it was obvious. You could see it coming. Pereira had no room on the inside, none. Thomas had nowhere to go, and everybody was just kind of piled up like a concertina. And you got to sit back and think, well, should it really have been done? Like, should that move have been made? Yeah, I know, excitement, adrenaline, and hurtling through, thinking, yes, I'm making an exceptional, amazing start. But if you don't make that start cleanly, and you've put half the field into the pits, or however many it was, it's not an immaculate start. It's not an excellent start, and you've damaged yourself. You've damaged other people's races. Thomas was out. Brandon was obviously in the pits. Ryan O'Connor was in there as well. Pereira was, he tyre barriered. He was definitely in there. So you've got to look at a bigger picture and think, was it worth it?
Yeah, look, I look at a couple of elements. It's a 45-minute race, right? At the start. So, yeah, okay, you got time. Yeah. It's not like a sprint race. Second of all, you got to give granted to these gladiators at the moment. Like, if you are up in those positions as well, everybody's going to go, and you don't know exactly who's going to go for here, where, then, and how. And so you're driving a race. You're on colder tires. You're starting it. Your adrenaline's through your body. Your heart rate's through the roof. You're then going to seize the opportunity. You try to drive your own race. Sometimes someone's going to try to make it to you. Joseph's gone around. Look at the replay in a second there for the JJ Racing team. And then all that's happening, and at this point, sometimes you think, well, is it better if I just stayed back a little bit? And if you're in the midfield, there's not so much you can do about it. You can't really just lift off and then just let everybody through, because by lifting off, you're going to cause issues. It's a lot at play. It's a lot at play. Yeah, and you got to grant it to every one of these drivers, because it's just a split-second decision, isn't it? Like, wrong way, right way, bang, all of a sudden there's an incident, and of course you have to be avoiding cars that may be spinning in front of you.
Yeah, I know it's difficult. I just think that from a driver's point of view, you can pick up cars easily along this back straights. As we see Joseph just do a
To
nice
me, James,
spin
like
there.
I always said before, as a race engineer to drivers before in the past, if you want to avoid incidents in a motor race, qualify P1. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
If you're there, you have nobody spinning in front of you. You have no incidents in front of you. All you have to do is focusing on getting through those corners as quickly as possible. Turn 1 in Daytona here is notoriously difficult. There's
Yeah, because you come
guaranteed.
off
You've
the
seen it
banking,
before the
haven't you?
Daytona 24-hour. So many incidents, even if you go the whole 24-hour. The meatball is the question of the Daytona 24-hour, like just the incidents. And that's, of course, different classes. We have one class here, James. And you still get those issues occur.
Yeah, I literally, I get what you said. Obviously, you know, O'Connor's point of view is one of the worst things is he's obviously in the Porsche, and there are times when the Porsche does decide that all of a sudden it just wants to kill you, which it does quite often. With your back ends goes round, he's only got to get it light, and then it's just see you later, like, which is what basically happened to him. Just about now, he got the power, it spun round and into the barrier for some random reason. But, you know, the likes of John Silver, Dylan Gomez come into contact as well. That was tough because of in this certain part of the area, and we know John's come out and apologised. We heard him, that's fine. Not going to mark on too much about that. But obviously, you know, Mikhail Turkin, completely self-inflicted spin. Birmingham's just had another ta-ta-ta with... Oh, it's coming out of turn 7. We know what's happened there. He's gone round coming out of turn 7. But, you know, obviously from this man's point of view, he wasn't in the race 30 seconds before somebody put him in the tyre barrier.
Oh, wrong place, wrong time. You can't do too much about that one. But then again, when you self-spin as a driver, and, you know, drivers can pick on me for that one because I'm not a driver. But I've seen it more before. You know, James, you know, I've casted thousands and countless of hours on this. It's... Early days in a race, you know, generally endurance races stuff, you have spotters and stuff, but you just gotta like take it easy a little bit. Like, once again, you let your adrenaline not control your racing. You go, and in this case particularly, when you only have really 7 or so drivers on the lead lap, 6 to be correct. It's, you know, sometimes it's better just to lift off there and just lose a little bit of time there and just think about a little bit later in the race, because what's happened right now is that we don't have really close battles because Ellie Borg now is lifted. And you know what? Ellie Borg said, hey, I'm okay. I'm second in the championship. I'm good. I got Jay Smart down the road from me. Nathan's not in the championship battling with me currently at the moment, so I'm going to maximize the points that I possibly can in this race with 2 minutes and change to go. That's all I needed to do.
I agree. I do agree with you. But from Pereira's point of view, I can understand how frustrated he must be. Because he was just a bystander in that.
Yeah, but that's motor racing, isn't it, James? Out of how many races are you having in this league, right? I mean, in any championship, any racing, IMSA, Formula One, anything, you know, you've seen Max Verstappen crash out lap 1. You've had Lewis Hamilton crash out lap 1. It's the law of averages. You're going to have a bad race. Simple as that. Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. However, I would have liked to have had a race that looked on literally a little bit longer than 30 seconds due to an overzealous individual that may...
If this was a legitimate, you know, real race, then because the amount of crashes they had, they probably would have gone yellow and stuff like that. But we don't have this luxury here in iRacing. It's not a luxury in the league, and that's just the way the rules crumble.
I agree with you.
Exactly what Ryan had said earlier. It's race on. It's game on.
Yeah. And Pereira is game on in 10th place. So battling away with one of the Mercs there in front of him currently at the moment. As there's no battles for him in position. That is Joey Fernandez in front of Pereira. He does pull over and let Pereira go from the Black Gold Racing team.
Now, James, you've casted a few leagues right now, right? I have. I've probably casted a few. I've probably casted a couple of leagues in the past where I've seen a driver win a championship without ever winning a race. You've seen a few of those, right?
Yeah, it has happened.
Consistency is key sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You've got to be able to keep it on track, right? And if you're consistently in third or consistently in second, as long as the people in front of you aren't consistently the same, you'll do a pretty good job of being up there within the championship. It's like anything. You've got to be in it to win it, and you've got to be in it to score points. We are going to see the last lap of the race here for Nathan Graham. You know, so you've got to be in it to win it, and sometimes these guys, you know, it happens.
And you know what Nathan's done best?
It?
You know what Nathan's done best? He put this baby on pole. And since he put that baby on pole, he didn't have any. He had a threat a little bit early from Elliot Borg, but aside from that, he didn't have anything else to worry about. And that's all you can do to minimize the chances of being involved in incidents is put the baby on pole. Sounds so easy, doesn't it, up here in the casting booth? But I guarantee you, when you get it done, and I have to say that, I'd have to come down to Nathan saying, hey, by putting this car on pole is all he needed to do, and that's all he had to worry about. Elliot Borg a little bit further down there, put a bit of a challenge to him, but nothing could take it from the part-time pros. Elliot, the number one machine with the number one name, and he's going to be the first to drive it across the line.
He very much is now. We are coming round at the final corner of it here with Nathan Graham. It's going to be coming over the line very, very shortly, taking this victory in this field. Here he comes now. Round the final corner. Across the line there for Nathan Graham. Takes the victory here at the LSRL round 5 from Daytona. Elliot Borg comes over in second. And then we've got a bit of a wait to third place of Joseph Carnes.
And Joseph's leading the championship, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it, for the JBJ racing team? So it's damage limitation. He's going to make sure that the only two drivers in the championship battling with him aren't going to lose. He's going to lose too many points there, James.
Yeah, no, he wants to kind of try and minimise the point loss as best he can, to be fair. Because let's face it, there wasn't a massive gap from them guys in the championship. You know, they had to be a little bit sensible. Jay Smart comes across the line as well. Ben Barnes is another one that's coming over very, very shortly. So, Ben there.
I'll tell you what, James, even as horrible of a driver I was, maybe even less horrible driver as you are, I'd probably even be crossing the line right now. But then again, that's me. There's nothing else to do with that one. But you got to give it to everybody else here.
Yeah,
there was
definitely.
drivers that have come back out, even a lap down or so, even with those repairs, James, they're still going to bring those cars home.
Yeah, my little soft spot here, John Dickerman. John is consistently finishing the races. It's consistent. It was the only one in Chicago that we did the street circuit that didn't have a damaged panel on his car. So, stellar job from John. Joseph Fernandez there as well. Coming across the line, Ryan O'Connor has just finished up as well here this evening. So here we go. Let's bring you up the final results, and these are final. Nathan Graham is your winner in first place. Elliot Borg in second. Joseph Carnes third. Jay Smart fourth. Ben Barnes is fifth. 5 cars on the lead lap. Beyond that, we've got John Dickerman in 6th, Sean Atkins 7th, Nathan Heffley 8th, Joseph Fernandez is in 9th place. Then beyond that, we've got the guys that caught up in incidents throughout the race. Daniel Pereira 4 laps down in 10th, Mikhail Turkin 5 laps down in 11th, Dylan Gomez 6 laps down in 12th, Brian O'Connor 10 laps down in 13th, Brandon Birmingham 13 laps down in 14th place, John Silva is 23, Thomas Boniatti 25, and Brendan Murray 26 laps down. Well, okay, from our point of view, it was quite an interesting race, right? Because obviously, you know, it all kicked off and there was some interesting battles and well, people didn't always make it through the first time. So I tell you what we'll do. Let's bring in the second place man and have a chat first with Elliot Borg. Elliot, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Oh, Biggles is here. Heck yeah.
Yeah, Biggles joined me tonight. So
nice.
You
guys were probably cheering for me.
Delivered that one on in P2 from studying P2. So, yeah, did you realize all the carnage that happened behind you?
No, I had no idea what happened in the turn 1. I just heard some angry voices.
Yeah. There was a good few cars. Thomas, Brandon, Ryan, Daniel Pereira was involved as well. Yeah, it was quite a big, interesting thing going on, shall we say, and I'm sure the stewards will be looking at it. But for you, towards the end of the race, mate, did you kind of settle down for second place? Did you just sit there and think, well, I've got the points?
I wish I could say that, but no, I was trying to push super hard and get through lap traffic, and that was just the gap that Nathan needed to pull ahead and break the draft. So really, my goal was to stay behind him for as long as I could because he was running my best quali laps in race trim. So just to stick with him, I was pretty happy to do that for the majority of the race, and then didn't really have the opportunity to try and send it in the end. So yeah, I'll take. I think my average finish in this league is like 1.75. So I will take that.
Well, that's the best thing to do, isn't it? Surely just take what you can get, and you've got a good result here as well. You've kept it on track. You've avoided the carnage because there was quite a lot of it. But overall, you know, going forward, I'm going to sit here and say your aspirations would be to win the championship, right? That's what the driver and aspirations is for you.
Right, constructors and drivers. So with Nathan being part-time, you know, I'll race him hard. You know, if we've got a DNF, we've got some drops. So I already used one week one, but yeah, trying to go for the drivers and then getting Smargonisborg to the top.
Who did come up with that name, Elliot? Anyway, just out of interest, the Smargonisborg name.
I think it was Jay just said, well, what if we just used all of our last names? And we just went through all of the combinations.
Oh, that's where it comes from.
Yeah. It was just like, well, that's an interesting combination, and it doesn't sound terrible. So we'll go with that.
Well, Elliot Borg, real quick there. I think you're 49 points in the championship, 53 to Joseph. Joseph finished behind you, so I'll have to crunch those numbers a little bit later on. But yeah, James. Well, I have to say, great job there, Elliot Borg. Looking good. P2s are averages, but doesn't matter. P2s win championships.
Heck yeah. Yeah, they do. And that's actually only running 4 of the 5 races. So Joe won race 1, but I was not there. So with a drop, this should get really interesting.
Yeah, definitely, mate, as well. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave the booth this evening?
Yeah, definitely my teammates. We kept it light. We kept it fun, even though Dylan had some issues in the beginning of the race. But, you know, putting the mean yellow and green Lambos P2, 3, 4 as often as we can. It's real fun to race with these guys.